right. This is going to be Unit 2, Topic 2. And we are doing systems by substitution. You have to read the words on your test. If it says by graphing, you have to graph. If it says substitution, you have to show me work. There will be test questions you have to physically write out with your stylus the answers and the work, okay? All right, your quiz over topic 2 is on Thursday the 15th. That's next Thursday, because we have to do 2 variables, we have to do 3 variables, and you have a 4-day weekend, okay? Now, substitution. What does the word substitution mean? To do what? To replace, to change, to take something out and put something else in. So that's what we are doing. We are taking something out and we are putting something else in. How do you decide what gets taken out and what gets put into that place? There's 2 things to look for. No matter what you do, you have to isolate a variable. What does that mean? Isolate a variable. To get a letter all by itself, okay? How do I know what letter to pick? My biggest hints are to pick a positive letter and to pick a letter without numbers. Y'all, if you don't know what that means, don't write it down. It means without. Spell it out if you don't know what it means, okay? So I want a positive letter and I want a letter without numbers. So let's go start a problem and I'll ask you questions as we go. So here's example number 1. A system is 2 or more equations. We're going to use 2 equations today. And then possibly tomorrow, if not Thursday, we will do 3 equations, okay? So my first equation says x plus y equals 4. My second equation equals x minus y equals -2. Which equation looks easier? Which one looks prettier to deal with, the top or the bottom? Why the top? Everything's positive. There's no numbers in front of my letters. So I'm going to start with my top equation, x plus y equals 4. Now in this specific problem, it doesn't really matter which letter I solve for. Is x positive? Is y positive? Do they both only have x and y, no numbers? So this one doesn't matter because it's a fairly simple equation, okay? What letter do you want to solve for, x or solve for y? Okay, I heard x first. So we're going to solve for x, which means I'm keeping x. So what do I have to get rid of? How? I'm going to subtract y to both sides. So what does x equal? 4 minus y. This is what I like to call a star equation. If you say that to your friends from a different class, they'll probably think you're crazy because I don't think their teachers call it that, okay? But it's a star equation. It's important to us. Just one second. When I use an equation, I cross it out. I'm not going to use it again. Okay? Yes, Bianca?
Okay, so does it matter which letter you're solving for? Is it always going to be?
No. It's going to be, you want the positive letter that has no number in front. So it's not always going to be x. It might be y. It might be a. It might be p. Whatever letter is positive without a number is what we want to try for. Okay? Okay. So I crossed out my first equation, which means I have my second equation. X minus y equals -2. I take what I just solved for and I substitute. I replace it. So instead of x, what am I going to write? 4 minus y. That's what x equals. So instead of x, I have 4 minus y. And I keep writing minus y equals -2. Now, it just becomes an 8th grade math problem, combining like terms, moving things where they belong. So I have 4, -y minus y is -2y equals -2. I'm going to subtract 4 to both sides because I'm trying to get my letter all by itself. -2y equals -6. When I divide by -2, y equals 3. That's the first half of my answer, okay? I used this equation. I cross it out. You have to keep your work nice and organized. The only equation I have left is a star equation. So my star equation, x equals 4 minus y. What did I just solve for? Y. So instead of writing 4 minus y, what can I put there instead? 3. So I'm going to have x equals 4 minus 3. What is 4 minus 3? It's 1. Now, what does all this mean? I am trying to find a solution. In topic 1, we did graphing. How did we know where our solution was when we were graphing? It was where my lines intersect, where they all came to one point. So if I were to graph these two lines, where do you think they would intersect? At what point? 1, 3. That's my point. X, y. So 1, 3. What does this solution mean? This is where lines intersect on a graph. So if I were to actually graph these lines, they would cross at the point 1, 3. Questions so far? Okay, we're going to do another example together. Make it a little bit harder. So here's example number 2. Gonna have 2x plus y equals -4. I'm gonna have 2x plus 3y equals 4. Which equation looks prettier? Which one's the better one to start with? The top or the bottom? I think the top. Why do you think the top? Because I want a positive letter. So I'll agree they're all positive letters. I want a letter that has no number. What's the only letter in here that has no number? This y right here has no number. That's why we're going to pick it. Okay? So I'm going to start with 2x plus y equals -4. My y is what I want to keep. So what do I have to get rid of?
2x.
So I'm going to minus 2x to both sides. So I have y equals -4 minus 2x. What is this equation? My star equation. When I use an equation, what do I do to it? Cross it out. We're not going to use it again. So now I have to use my second equation. 2x plus 3y equals 4. What letter did I just solve for? y. So instead of writing 3 times y, what's going to go where my y is? Negative 4 minus 2x. So 2x plus 3. And you better have some parentheses. Negative 4 minus 2x. So my 2x is just kind of hanging here. I'm going to have negative 12. Where did negative 12 come from? I distributed my 3. Minus 6x. I distribute my 3. Equals 4. Now it's just basic algebra, combining like terms. Negative 4x minus 12 equals 4. Gonna add 12 to both sides. So I have negative 4x equals 16. Divide by negative 4. What does x equal? Negative 4. When I use my equation, I cross it out. Now I have to use my star equation. Y equals negative 4 minus 2x. What letter did I just solve for? X. So I replace my x. Y equals negative 4 minus 2 times negative 4. Y equals negative 4 plus 8. You have to do your multiplication first. Y equals 4. How do I write my solution? It's an ordered pair, negative 4, 4. What does it mean? It means if I were to graph these lines, what would happen at negative 4, 4? That's where they intersect. It's where they cross. Okay? Questions so far? It's very, very repetitive. I find a letter, I plug that letter in. I find a letter, I plug that letter in. Okay? Here's the problem I want you to try on your own. 3x plus 5y equals 13. 2x plus y equals 4. Which equation's the easier one to start with? Y the bottom. It has y by itself, so that's what I'm going to get you started on. I want you to find your star equation. Okay, so most people I saw minus 2x on both sides, and their star equation was correct, 4 minus 2x. Cross it out and use your second equation, 3x plus 5y equals 13. I'll work it out, look up, and check your answer because a lot of people are forgetting to distribute. So make sure you look up to check your answers. And then once again, I cross out an equation, and the last one I use is my star equation. If you do not get what I have on my screen,